At this stage, I think we all know that Dehya is doo-doo. But that doesn't mean we can't have fun exploring and experimenting new ways to play with her. Just because she's not good does not mean she's not usable. Now, not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of using, Kazuha and Bennett to cope for all the damage. Also, don't mind my Kazuha. My Kazuha is unoptimized because I just don't really like playing him. I'm not really a fan of using Kazuha and Bennett just to make up for the damage of a character because, at that point, it's they're doing all the work. So what's the fun of it, right? So anyway, I'm a bit of a Candace simp and a bit of a Dehya simp. So I chuck them into teams randomly just for fun, just to experiment. And I've found a pretty enjoyable team in this variant with Farina, Candace, Dehya, and Baiju. So it's a bit of a mishmash going on with a whole bunch of the whole bunch of vapes and burgeons going on. Now, obviously, Dehya isn't doing too much damage herself, but she's trying her best, and I try to on-field her and try to make her do as much as she can. But most of the time, if you were realistically playing this team, let's pretending this team was like some sort of optimal team, you'd be on-fielding Baiju most of the time because you'd want to have more Dendro. But you know me, and I just gotta have Dehya on field. Anyway, basically, like pretty much all standard builds for the other three. Like Farina, I've just got her on Wolf Fang and Golden Troop. Stats are looking like this. They're alright. Candace, I've just got on Staff of Homer. Yeah, I've got a Staff of Homer for my Candace. Yeah, I've got her just the standard emblem build. And notably, I do have her C6. So that kind of is like the only way to make her something on this team. Otherwise, in any other situation, you probably just bring Kazuha or like maybe Xingqiu wouldn't. Yeah, probably Xingqiu actually. Xingqiu, Yelan, whatever. Whatever. Like, there's always a million situations where there's a better person than Candace or Dehya. By the way, Farina C0. And I'll go over Dehya in a sec, but she's also C0. Baiju C0. His stats are just looking like this, pretty average. I've just got him in Prototype Amber. I can't get any of the Catalyst, whatever the thing is called. So I've only got the Prototype Amber stuck at R3. Standard Deepwood set. And then my Dehya is a bit of a mishmash, not gonna lie. Yeah. Anyway, let me go over it. Stats are looking like this, so they're meh. But I've got R5 portable power saw. Why? Because. No, but it's alright. It's good. It gives her good base HP, so maybe you can actually make some use out of her E skill and giving some damage mitigation from the enemies, and then also also interrupt resistance most importantly, and then also the passive on this does give, well, it's like 3 stacks, so 80 times 3, 240 EM and a little bit of energy as well. So 12 energy, 240 EM after you use your elemental skill. And then also I've just got on Vorkashas, which with a mishmash build again. It's pretty alright. I farm Vorkashas like every day. It's pretty sad. Now the Goblet, I put her on EM because we all know that she's not doing any personal damage. So I thought, maybe we can get some more Dendro reaction damage going on. And yeah, that's the circlet. Pretty sweet circlet if you ask me. Anyway, so that's my Dehya build. Surprisingly, even though she does have pretty low ER, the portable power saw makes up for a fair bit of it. But yeah, anyway, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. This team is not it's not destroying floor 12 or anything like that. But I have fun, and it's actually way too much just for general story content, exploration, whatever. Like, all the casual side of Genshin, it is decimating them because, the bosses compared to floor 12 are just not, they're not that crazy. But in floor 12, that's when you'll start to find hiccup. So with this team, I have 3-starred this Spiral Abyss before, but I've 3-starred the first and second chamber, but the third chamber, just not with the Pyro Abyss Lectors, it's just not happening. And in the second half, I haven't actually properly tested out on the second half, but against the mechanical Dorito and I just kind of like to have a lot of electro. Otherwise, it's just it's a bit of a pain. But yeah, I haven't tested it out in the second half. I should actually probably test that. But I've managed to 3-star with this team, me stubbornly using this team with I managed to 3-star chamber 1 and 2, but chamber 3 was just a bit too far out of reach. But like chamber 1 was very slow, and it was mainly the second half. Like the first half was just like my standard was this fun little Dehya team. But then the second half was pretty much just carried by like a little Ito team that I slotted on Kuki with tenacity. And then the rest of it was just Ito bonking them and somehow doing it within like less than a minute. So yeah, there was a bit of luck, a bit of RNG on that, but I managed to stubbornly pull through for it. Anyway, yeah, I enjoy it, and that's all that really matters. Anyway, all right. Okay, I'll give a quick showcase of like of how it feels to play this team. Spoilers, it feels pretty bad, but it's pretty fun. Other ways you could play around this and probably see a little bit more damage would be like replacing Candace, obviously. But you could also probably replace her with Jean or someone like that. Like if you're like me and don't really feel like using Kazuha and Bennett just to pick up everybody's slack. You could probably replace Candace with Jean and then make Baiju Nahida or something like that. But there's a couple of ways to play around it, but it's not crazy. None of them are crazy. None of the variants are crazy because if you're using Dehya on any team, that's pretty much a liability. Anyway, yeah, let me give you a quick sample of what it's like to play.
Mind the side effects.
Let's get it on! We shall prevail! Time to shine! Strike a pose!
Seems like an emergency. A bitter pill to swallow.
Look alive! You asked for it!
Mind the side effects.
Yoo-hoo! Hear my prayer! Let's get it on! Let my name echo in song!
Taking a turn for the better. A bitter pill to swallow.
You're dead meat! Flee!
Mind the side effects.
Look alive! Grant us your blessing! Time to shine!
Seems like an emergency.
The doctor will see you! Yield! Gloves off!
Yeah, I'll just use Dehya's ult on a pyro enemy. Don't mind me. But it's good thing about Dehya there is you can cancel it, I guess. Oh my god.
Yield! We shall prevail!
A bitter pill to swallow.
How did you play?
Alive! Let my name echo in song!
Remember, health comes first.
Oh no, cooldowns.
You asked for it! Let's get it on!
But yeah, anyway, so that's the rough like power level of that team. You can see that it's like you can see that it's clearly not made for floor 12, especially this abyss. Especially like I did that a couple of times because my dudes kept dying because I wasn't paying attention, and ping doesn't help. But you can see that that's the rough power level of it, and like it's not a crazy team, but like any content that you're trying to clear, domains, you're trying to do simple events, you're trying to do you're just trying to farm some bosses or whatever, farm some overworld enemies. Obviously, this team is going to decimate it. So yeah, anyway, I think it's just a fun casual team that I think lots of us Dehya players, Dehya Farina players can pick up. Like I know Farina was probably doing like 89% of that damage, and then Candace was trying her best as well. Baiju was all over that Dendro application. So you could see why, like, you know, switching out Nahida there, putting Kazuha here, putting in Jean there instead of, and you can flitter all around with it, how you could easily get more damage. But, you know, I want to use, you know, the fun characters, the characters that I like, and I like, you know, the characters that I like. And I like Baiju and his cool Tai Chi moves. I like Candace. I love Dehya. And Farida's cool as well, and she really helps out the team. So I'm like, you know what? This is a cool team to mess with. My ult. This is the great thing about Dehya ult. Ready? Ready? Okay, so how the power saw works is pretty funny. I thought I would just mention this because it's kind of relevant to how this team works. Is that you need to get healed, and then essentially when you get healed, you get a stack, which is one of those little glowy balls around the power saw. And essentially you can see right now that I've got, you know, no energy on my burst. I've got 310 EM, but now that I popped my elemental skill, you can see that now there's a bit of energy towards my burst, and I currently have 550 EM. So, you know, I've got some other Dehya builds, but you know, it consumed all the stacks, by the way. I've got some other Dehya builds, but you can see how like the power saw actually kind of helps in this scenario, because it, you know, refunds me some energy, which makes up for the lack of ER that I have, and then also increases the EM. So it means my little burgeons that are happening actually do some damage. And yeah, it's like it's a pretty weird hybrid build that I've got going on. But like, you know, the thing is with Dehya is that even when you maximize like her attack, she's just not hitting crazy high numbers. Like even between like with like Farina buffs, Kazuha and Bennett, and you know, whatever shenanigans you can pull around with some of like the strongest buffers in the game, Dehya's not doing anything too crazy. So I just try to play her and like play her in a way that I'm going to enjoy. Like I don't really enjoy most of the, you know, big buffers, so you know, I just tried my best to play with this type of team. But anyway, also in the run, like between my lack of skill and like trash ping, I'm sure it could have been played better. Like, you know, I could probably in a couple of attempts get a better run than that. But I don't know. Anyway, so I've cooked up a couple of team variants and other variations and completely different teams with Dehya, completely different builds. You know, none of them are too strong, but they're all very fun. So anyway, if you want to see those, make sure to sub, and I'll see you in the future. All right, bye-bye.